QuaranJazz. Listen while you're home. Welcome to the second episode of QuaranJazz. I'm Geisa Fernandes, and first of all, I would like to thank you very much for the great response to the show. In these crazy yet necessary days of physical distancing, it's good to know that social solidarity is high. As you know, at this very moment, a lot of great jazz musicians out there are unable to perform and to show their work. Some of them had been caught when they were just about to go to studio and record a new album or single, while others had to interrupt their tours and saw a lot of their future gigs being cancelled. Well, this show is all about sharing this project, talking about our work, and getting to know each other jazz musicians better. Do you have any comments, suggestions? Are you a jazz musician and you'd like to participate? Let's talk. Visit geisafernandes.com and contact me. Today's guest comes from Italy, double bass player and composer Ferdinando Romano. Ciao, Ferdinando. So tell us about your work, a little bit of yourself, your background.
Hi everybody, I am Ferdinando Romano and I am a double bass player and composer from Italy. And I'm very happy to be here taking part to this podcast, and I want to thank Geisa for having me invited and being part of it. And so I'll introduce you to my music. And I am going to release in mid-April, a new album. You will listen to the first track of the album today. And the album is called Totem featuring Ralph Alessi, because it features a band of Italian musicians and the great trumpet player, ECM artist Ralph Alessi. I am based in Florence, Firenze, in Italy. And when the COVID emergency came out, I was like just almost leaving for a tour, 10 days tour in the south of Italy, because I play in a band that was releasing a new album, had just released a new album. And then I had some other tours around and everything was cancelled. So suddenly I was blocked at home without any possibility of playing gigs anymore. And this, of course, is the situation of all musicians around the world almost now. And also, of course, when the emergency came out, I was planning the release of this album. And so I had also some thoughts about it, because I didn't know if it was the case of still releasing music or maybe waiting for the situation to calm down. But actually, I think that I decided to let the album out the same, because I think that in this moment we can't stop, really. We can't stop doing new things, putting out music. Also because I'm realizing that people really are in need of music, of things that can like give them inputs. Because everybody is locked in their house. So, I mean, giving inputs, giving music, sharing things is very important in this moment.
I couldn't agree more. I guess that making art, sharing art, consuming art in all its forms, it's now one of the things that helps us not going insane, keeps the balance. Well, and now instead of touring, you are stuck at home. Tell us, what are you doing?
Now, during this quarantine time, I am mostly practicing. Of course, I have having even more time. I have expanded my daily instrument routine. Then I'm writing new music, putting out new ideas, and then I am trying really to share ideas, musical and and plans for the future with other musicians. You know, that's a great thing we can do in this period, the sharing with other people. And also, like with some friends, we are trying to experiment with some online platforms, and we can have fun, like doing things like one of us records something, then we send it to another musician and he puts something else on top, and then we try to write music together and see what comes out. I mean, it doesn't mean that it has to be the best song in the world, but it's fun, and it's a way of keeping connection with other people. And my plans for the future now are mostly, let's say, connected with the album release, because I don't have many plans for gigs. I mean, I have some gigs that haven't been cancelled yet in May, but I'm expecting this to happen before or after, because at least here in Italy the situation is not great at the moment. So I'm concentrated on promoting the album online, of course, writing to journalists, to radios, to all the people that can be interested in the music. And I took like a little stop in writing for booking gigs to promoters, because this moment is so confused that the promoters I know personally, they told me that they can't really plan anything in these moments. So this is what I am mostly concentrated in this period.
And Ferdinando, before we listen to your track, I would like you to tell us about your musical influences, your musical background.
So, talking about my influences, I am basically a classical trained musician, because I studied in a music academy. We call it conservatorio in Italy, in Florence, in Firenze, and where I also studied composition. And then I took a master degree in Lugano, in Switzerland, with Enrico Fagone. And so let's say that my academic studies were always in classical music. And then I always practiced jazz. I studied privately a lot. And then I also studied in quite famous school here in Italy that is called Siena Jazz. And so my influences come, let's say, from both sides. They come from the classical world and the jazz world. And so when I write music, I really naturally mix the two things. They melt in my writing. And let's say if I should define like my music, I would say like a sort of ECM sound, but also with the post-bop, let's say, influences. And if I should refer maybe to some musicians, I would say probably influences from Kenny Wheeler, Ambrose and Kim Musir, and Ralph, of course, was probably my main influence in this sense. Also, before playing together, he was a great point of reference for me in writing music, and also in his approach to improvising, because he has a very free and very creative approach to improvisation. That's what I realized also then when we played together, because also like in my album there are some tracks that are have blocks completely written of written music, and then other parts where there is a more free improvisation. It's not really free jazz, but there is a lot of freedom. And I love his approach because it is always very creative. He never plays chops or predefined ideas, but he really creates on the spot. And other musicians that have been very important for me as an influence in, especially I'm talking about writing now, where Sergei Prokofiev, that is absolutely one of my favorite composers and a musician that I think has had a big influence on me. and Igor Stravinsky too, Debussy. But yeah, yes, especially these musicians, I have to say, because I like the way they treat the relationship between consonants and dissonance, how they develop ideas. And yeah, speaking of compositional ideas, I like this thing of developing, and I tried also in my album to experiment with different forms, like not keeping the traditional form, like AABA, or also like having a first head, then solos, and then a second head. But I mixed up the things. Some tunes are a continuous development in music of the original idea, and maybe the first head doesn't come back in the end, but there is a new head that is a development of the first one. So this is the approach I had on the album.
All right. And about this new album, tell us how was the recording process? Who are the musicians involved? How was it?
Recording this music was very fun because we went, first of all, in a great studio, that is the studio of Stefano Amerio in Udine. Great place where to go. He's a sound engineer that works with ECM. He makes great sounds, really, and he made us feel relaxed, very comfortable, and so we had really great fun. And with Ralph too, was like super easy playing together, and we had a very good feeling while recording, but also, outside when we went around or having lunch or dinner together. It was very fun speaking, sharing ideas. Great vibe, I have to say. And I'm very happy about the band because they are all, first of all, they are great friends. And then, in my opinion, they are great musicians, some of my favorite musicians in Italy and improvisers. I would suggest also to check out their music if you haven't ever heard about them. They have also their own project, their own bands, and they play really great music. And they are Simone Alessandrini on alto and soprano sax, Tommaso Iacoviello on flugelhorn. He plays on some tracks where there is both him and Ralph, Tommaso playing flugelhorn and Ralph playing trumpet. And on one track there is not Ralph playing, there is only Tommaso, and he plays very, very intense solo on this track with his flugelhorn. Then there is Nazareno Caputo on vibes, vibraphone and marimba, Manuel Magrini on piano, and Giovanni Paolo Liguori on drums. So check them out if you probably never heard about them. And also with Giovanni Paolo, the drummer, we shared a lot of musical experiences in the years. So we are also very good friends, of course. And we also play in a trio led by an Italian saxophonist, Leonardo Radicchi. The trio is called Arcadia Trio. We released an album last year, and we are going to release a new one later this year with the trombonist Robin Eubanks. We had a tour last year with Robin. It was really great fun, and from this tour we had the idea of continuing this relationship, and then we recorded the album that will be out later this year. And so I would suggest to everybody in this period, in these days, to listen to a lot of music. Check out as many musicians as you can, because I'm listening to really a lot of great musicians in these days, having so much time to explore music. And many are musicians that are not known, let's say not famous, but now with social media you can find easily almost everybody. And it's really nice to explore, like speaking for me in this moment, nice to explore what other musicians are doing around the world. share experiences that usually are similar. We make music, we try to share it. We want people to know it, and so it's really very beautiful to use this moment for that. Of course, it's not an easy moment for anybody, but I would suggest to exploit this free time as best as we can. And so stay at home, stay safe, and listen to music and enjoy.
That's all great advice. And this track we are going to listen. What can you tell us about it?
So the track you're going to listen today is called The Gecko, and it's the first track of Totem featuring Rafalessi. And it's a tune dedicated to the geckos, that are these small animals that are I love really a lot, and they are associated usually with tenacity and patience. And so I think that this is an image that could work well in these hard times, because that is what we really need. We need tenacity to continue to work on our things, or even react and push even further the things that we wanted to do. And at the same time, we need patience, because we don't really know what's going to expect us in the next weeks, the next months, for our lives, for our work. And so we need to be patient and keep on doing our things. And so the album, as I said before, is going to be released in mid-April. And from the 27th of March, this track will be available online on all digital platforms. So you can listen it on Spotify, Apple Music, and all digital distributors. And I'm setting up also a pre-order of the album. So if anyone wants to listen to this track on Bandcamp, can do it, and anyone can support the music by pre-ordering the digital version, the CD, or even the vinyl, because I printed a limited number of LPs for this album. So I would be happy if you could all check it out. And so thank you for listening, and keep safe.
Well, thank you for your participation, Ferdinando. I really appreciated it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the gecko. QuaranJazz. Listen while you're home. QuaranJazz, a podcast by Geisa Fernandes.